rule that I always teach about sales is that it's emotional. Sales is emotional. Most people who sell. Hello, Sean. Hi, Todd. How you guys doing? Glad to see some people coming on board here. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by the community guide. I'm reading this stuff on the side here. Just want to talk a little bit about, what makes people want to buy. Your traditional salesperson, what are they? Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. Got the microphone on here and everything. Something like 85 degrees here in San Diego this afternoon. It is warm. Actually, I think do we have, hi, Aisha. Ishu is on. Good to see you. Ishu, Bernie, I think, my friend. Okay, good. And most people, when they're selling, they're giving presentations. They're giving facts and figures, features and benefits. And I think to many of us, that is basically, and I'll take a bunch of your questions, by the way. I just wanted to talk a little bit about emotional selling. Was a topic. We had a great group call today, by the way, for my students who came on. Make sure you watch that recording. I thought it was a good one. Even had where somebody had to defend me. I was accused of murder, and they had to use emotional selling to sway the jury and I think I was declared innocent, by the way, even though the facts were against me. The jury was swayed emotionally, and that's kind of the point what I wanted to talk to you about today. Emotional selling is so much more productive. You can close people in one phone call, literally one meeting, if you get to the point and if you ask the right questions, rather than give that long-winded presentation. I mean, why are we in sales? Sales can be very disappointing. You can work your tail off in sales. You can knock on a lot of doors. I hear a lot of people about driving for dollars and knocking on doors and everything. And they're rejected so much. They get beat. Claude, beat the rap with guts. I like that. Thank you. And the thing about it is they work so hard and they're knocking on doors and they study their products, their services. I know a lot of people follow me because I'm interested also in real estate. I've been doing real estate for years. The thing that made my real estate business hum was sales, learning sales from my mentor, Max. I wrote a book about him. I think I got it in the background there. This is my fun little book I wrote. And to me, sales, asking questions and getting the prospect emotionally involved made all the difference. The traditional salesperson, they work on their presentation and they flap their gums for 2 to 5 minutes. They do very little qualifying. They ask very few questions. They ask a couple questions, but they don't really, it's more like a boring, anybody here ever go to school, high school, college, and you got some professors that are fascinating, really interesting, not enough of them. And you got a couple that are just so, cue for so. How many people here fell asleep in the big auditorium? You know, the ones where you have a couple hundred prospects, couple hundred students in there, and you fall asleep because of the boring professor. We don't want to bore people. We want to capture their interest. We want to keep them amused. How do we do that? We do that basically by asking questions. Gee, why are we talking today? What's your biggest challenge? What's your problem? Why are you buying a home? Why are you selling a home? Why do you think you need life insurance? Things like that, to get them emotionally involved in the conversation, and so that we can have a dialogue with them and honor. We always talk. We're hearing a lot today. God bless the millennials. What do the millennials say? Transparency. It's epic. It's what are some of those other words they use? Authentic, and all those honesty words. Okay, and I believe in that. I really believe you can be completely honest with people and still make a lot of money, and you can their impression of you. What's their perception? What's the prospect's perception that you're somebody that is trying to manipulate them, trying to control them, trying to put your hand on their wallet? And that's when the defenses go right up. And we're dead. Most people are dead in sales in the first couple seconds because the prospect sees you as an adversary, as someone trying to manipulate them, trying to control them, trying to bore them. They either want to get away from you or they want to pick your brain, get the information they need, and then they'll make up some kind of excuse, you know the ones, and get off the phone with you. Oh, I've got and you think about it, most salespeople today they're basically free consultants. They're just giving away tons of information on specific subjects. And then the prospect says, okay, I'll think about it. I'll talk to somebody else. It's not in my budget right now. Call me in a couple of weeks, couple of months, never. What are they really doing? Honestly, what are they really doing? They're just saying, they're really saying no. And that's what it's all about. They're just saying no. And so we want to get away from that kind of selling. First of all, I hate the rejection. I don't know. I'm sensitive. I cry at Disney movies. Okay. The thing about it is, if we can get into that honest, what we call in transaction, I use a lot of transactional analysis. Parent, adult, child. Do we want to have an adult to adult conversation, or do we want the parent, the prospect to be the parent and we're the child and they talk down to us? Do you ever have a prospect talk down to you like you're a child? They're in total control. We're using their method, their system. They're picking our brain. We're subservient. We're like the little dog begging at the table. Okay. And that's a bad way to sell. There's no respect for your time or anything like that. And what's the other, child to child? That's where we both get mad and we're both acting petty and stuff like that. That's a bad way to sell too. Adult to adult is where we're having a conversation, that mutual conversation, that it's comfortable. We really feel like we're communicating with everybody. And it's not that I close everybody. I just want to statistically, I want to raise the probability so I have a better shot at closing people. So what I do is like any doctor does. I'm a diagnostician. I'm going to ask the questions, but questions with a lot of emotion. And that's kind of what I want to speak to today about. Using that emotion to such an extent that the prospect, because people, the $1 million rule, I've said it in a lot of my YouTube videos, people make immediate business decisions emotionally. They justify them logically later on. But if you want to close somebody right away, make it emotional. If you go that intellectual gobbledygook, features and benefits, my company does this, we've been in business, and you just tell that whole little lecture that they don't want to hear. They just want to know, does it come in green and can I afford it? How much does it cost? Whatever. And I don't care. You're selling cars, you're selling insurance, whatever it is. Can you find that emotional trigger, that little psychological nerve ending, so that they start participating with you and you have that nice adult to adult conversation and you start getting them involved? It just works. It works for me, and I'm nobody special. It'll work for you. Let me read you something that I read to my group today. Prospects make commitments quickly, spontaneous. We want them to make commitments spontaneously with emotion, not logic. The logic comes after the fact. We get them emotionally involved. We get the commitment. We get the sale. We get the information we need emotionally. Okay. And what are those emotions? And then the logic will fit in later. They'll justify the purchase later, but you have a chance to close them down. I told a story today to my group about how I speak with consultants all the time, and a lot of times they think they have the sale, and then they think they're going to close me later, and when they could have closed me right on the spot. I talked about that in detail today on my group call. I do a Monday group call on Zoom with my regular mentoring students, and I try to share news and things on the week and all that. And if you want more information, go to my webpage, claudediamond.com, by the way. But if we can, what are the different emotional triggers? What are the different things? It can be greed. Someone wants to make more money. If you're working with investors, you're selling a savings plan or something like that. You're a financial advisor. You're going to have to work on the greed, right? Everybody wants a better return. You might have to ask questions about that return. What if you sell real estate? Okay, what emotion would you talk about? Love of family, protection of family. You would talk about a roof over your head. Maybe you talk about appreciation that goes to maybe the greed, the money side again. You would talk about tax savings, things like that, all about money, avarice, greed, the things that are important to people. I don't mean people are greedy or anything like that. I just mean those are the things that might be important. And you need to know, what are those emotional questions that are important to someone who wants to buy a house today? How about someone selling a house? They want cash. When do they want cash? Can they wait for it? How urgent is it? Things like that. If you were selling a car, what kind of emotions fit into the car? If I was I work with car salespeople. I would ask that car salesman, I would ask that customer comes into my dealership. Excuse me. Let me get a little sip here of some good old water. I don't eat during the day. I drink a lot of coffee. I drink a lot of water, and I have one meal a day at the end of the day, and keeps my girlish figure here. But if I was selling cars, I would say to the prospect, well, gee, you got a car out there. It seems to be running. You drove it here. Why do you think you need another car? Oh, well, and maybe they'll tell you. Maybe they have a bigger family, a smaller family. They want better gas mileage. Maybe they want more safety features, things like that. I would find out then, what do they do for a living? And hopefully they're in sales. And I might try, if I was selling a prestigious car, like a nice Audi or Cadillac or something, I'd say, do you think driving a nicer car would help you make more sales? Do you think people, what would be their perception of you driving a nice, brand new, clean car? Something like that. Something that maybe they'll be thinking, gee, I'll increase my sales now because I have a nicer car. People will think I'm successful. Things like that. Perception is reality in sales, isn't it? Absolutely. People buy immediately because it feels right. They use logic to justify the decision later on. The better you are at making it emotional, that's what we're talking about today. Connection, the words you use, the connections you make with people, the images that you paint in their mind. We use a lot of positive suggestion. Some people call it NLP. Some people call it hypnotism or hypnotherapy. I'm an artist who wants to paint on your canvas in your mind an image to make you more emotional about my product or service as quick as possible. It's just easier to close when you start getting somebody emotional. Think about this for yourself. Do you ever get emotional? Have you ever made decisions about buying something and you became emotional and you acted quickly? Maybe you live to regret it later on. But we all make decisions very quickly when the emotional trigger is stimulated. And we have to learn to ask the questions, painting the picture in their mind, telling stories. Storytelling is immense for getting people emotionally involved. It is fantastic. I talked today a little bit about different things. I'm a big fan of Dr. Robert Cialdini. He talked a lot about the different, why do people buy different things, which also leads to emotion. Being assertive to someone, taking a leadership and authority role is very important. Some people might call that an assumptive close, where you say, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, do you want the product delivered Tuesday or Wednesday? Because this is what you need. This will solve your problem. I can do 2:30 or 3:30. What do you think is the best time? That's a combination of maybe an assumptive close with an assertive close. Assertiveness is not to bully people. It is basically to get them so they respect your knowledge and authority. You have to take that leadership role. You're the lawyer in the room. You're the accountant, and it's April 15th. Almost there, right, guys? Hope you did your taxes, by the way. We did too. Good news. We pay, God, what do we pay? Quarterly taxes. Basically, we send the government, I think, a Mercedes-Benz every 3 months. The taxes are the way you measure success. You hope you don't have to pay too much and you write off everything you can. But I guess that's part of the measurement rules of if you're doing well or not. Scarcity. A lot of times we talk about Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, I only have one of these left. It's okay to say no to me. I have many other people to call, but do you think you want this car, this policy, this house, this widget right away? Use scarcity in your selling and make it very emotional. Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, you don't have to say yes to me, but you said you had a problem. You said you needed a new car because your other car was giving you trouble. This is a very nice, reliable car. I only have one model left on the floor right now. We won't have any for another 2 or 3 weeks. Are you worried about driving this car, breaking down with the kids on the freeway and it gets dark and everything like that? Would you like to act now? It's okay to say no. I have other people who will buy it pretty soon. Would you like to buy it right now? So you told me you came in here because you were worried about the reliability on your other car, in your 1972 explode on rear impact Pinto. So we use scarcity. Some people call that takeaway. Okay, these all make people emotional, don't they? You notice how I talked about the family being stuck on the freeway. This is how you use the right words with the right story. You use the right psychological triggers, and you make it as emotional as possible. Let's take another one. Reciprocity. When somebody, excuse me, let me take another sip of water here. Hope you're enjoying this. I will take some questions in a few minutes. If you have some questions, go ahead and post them now, and I'll address them after I get off my little Claude lecture here. But reciprocity. When a prospect asks you for something, make sure you ask for something back. Give away things that are not important to you so that they feel like they owe you something. If a prospect says to you, gee, how much does that house cost? Can I do a rent to own on that house? How much does that house cost? So, it's a great question, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect. Let me look up on my notes here and everything. Let me get that. Would you like me to send you a contract or an outline with the comps and everything else? Oh, yeah, you'd be glad. Okay, good. It'll take me an hour or two to do this. I'll make sure I'll get it to you in about 2 hours from now, and we'll speak again. And if those prices meet with your budget, would you want to move forward today after I put in this work? And this meets with your needs? Could we move forward? Boom. Always ask for something back. Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, if I take you out in this car right now and it meets with your needs, it's comfortable, it feels good, it feels safe, and we can design this to take advantage of the savings right now, the discounts, and it meets within, you said you didn't want to spend more than $350 a month. If I can do all those things for you and take you out in this car and give you all that information, do you think we can move forward? Boom. Red herring. I like that, Aisha. Very good. So this is how I use reciprocity. When they ask you for something, make sure you work it a little bit. Oh, that's going to take a little time to put that together. But for you, I'll be glad to do it. It'll take me about 2-3 hours, but not to worry. We'll take care of all that for you. But could you do this for me since I'm doing this for you? Don't be scared, and do it in the first phone call. When you have them in that emotional state, with your stories, with your questions, with your dialogue and conversation, make sure you take advantage of it now. What would you like to do now, Ms. Prospect? I think this fits your needs, works in your budget. It's timely. You came to me with 3 or 4 problems. I think we answer this product or service answers all those questions for you. If I can help you address all those, are we ready to move forward now? Are you comfortable with this? It's okay to say no to me, but I don't think you want to go much longer with those problems, do you? Go for it now. Go for it. Be assertive. Aggressive is not a dirty word in the gut sales method. It's okay to be aggressive if you're selling a product you believe in. Absolutely. Trust. It's a biggie. Likability and trust. Cialdini talks a lot about that. I like to cite him all the time because if you can get somebody, I practice getting people to like me all the time. If I'm on the cash register at the Costco or just getting a cup of coffee at the Starbucks or something like that, can I make that person smile? Can I compliment them? Can I stroke them? That's a compliment. Can I make them smile? Can I get them so that they say, oh, I like this guy. This guy is a good guy. He's safe. He's okay. Made me smile. He liked me. Paid me a sincerity is very important in sales, isn't it? You better believe it. Absolutely. So that likability, and if they like you and you're in a sales mode in a business meeting with somebody, trust it. Thank you for the thumbs up and stuff like that. Appreciate it. if you can get likability, the next step is trust. Why do you, I say repeatedly on my YouTubes and my broadcasts, I say all the time, it's okay to say no. It's okay to fire me. Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, can you do me a favor? And we do this in the agenda step. If you know anything about my gut sales method, there's 3 steps: agenda, qualification, commitment, close. In the agenda step, we always say to the prospect, when Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, I'm going to ask you some questions. You ask me a few. We're going to draw a little roadmap here so we know where we're going. And at the end of this conversation, would you do me a favor? Would you fire me if you do not believe my product or service can satisfy your needs at this moment? Okay. You don't have to say you'll think about it or you're going to do more research and all that. You can just say it's over. It's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings too much. But have fun with it. And when you say that to somebody, say, I'm still waiting. I have not met a salesperson yet who said, Claude, it's okay to fire me. Claude, it's okay to say no. Claude, you don't have to buy my product or service today. I'm still waiting to meet that. Why do you think I do that? I do that because I want to gain that trust. I want to change the whole paradigm for them. Nobody said, Guts is about pattern interrupts, sounding different, throwing them off balance. The trouble is, if you say the same old things that all your competition is saying, they know how to handle you. They know how to reject you, manipulate you, pick your brain for free. So you got to do things that are completely different. So they're prepared. They have a wonderful method. We have been inundated in this society with so much marketing, okay, that the prospect knows how to reject us. They know how to manipulate us. They know how to get everything for free. And I'll think about it, send me, all that. So you can spend 30, 40, 50 minutes or more. You can drive in your car. You can do all this work. They will manipulate you if you sound the same as everyone else. So what I'm saying to you is it's okay to be yourself. My hero, Popeye, I am what I am. That's all what I am. I want you to sound different. And I want you to use pattern interrupts. These are, I call them guts moves. These are basically where you do something that throws them a little off balance a little. They don't know how to answer you. So sometimes when they don't have a ready-made answer, because they've heard it so many times before, that automatic answer. In any store, when you go into a store, what's the clerk always say? Hi, are you having a good day? Can I help you with anything? What does all the customers, the prospects say? No, just looking. Boom. Instead of asking a question like, wow, isn't it warm out today? Oh my gosh, how are you dealing with this heat? Asking an open-ended and closed-end question, very, very important in the gut sales method. That's how you stay in control also. But you want to do things a lot different. And the way you get good at this stuff is just practice. Practice all the time. Practice in just casual situations and even non-sales situations. Practice all the time. Ask questions so that even you practice on your sales calls too. In your heart and soul, tell me if I'm wrong. Don't you know usually when you're not going to sell that person? Don't you have that sixth sense that pops up in your head? This person is not going to buy today. They don't have the authority. They don't have the money. They don't have the interest. Don't you hear that all the time from people? Don't you get that feeling? So if you're not going to sell somebody, you might as well have some fun with it and use it as a learning exercise. Go try some new things. When they say, I'll think about it, say, you know what, Mr. Prospect, appreciate you sharing that with me, but you're not allowed to think about it. And then shut your mouth. And you might get a real reaction. What do you mean I'm not allowed to think about it? Or what do you mean I can't think about it? You're getting their attention. You're also making them emotional. This can be to your advantage as a master of psychology and sales, making them emotional. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, you're not allowed to think about it. What do you mean, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect? I get the feeling that we're not going to do business today. I think money couldn't be the issue, could it? And then you just wait, and you're hoping to get more and more information, more honesty, more truth. And this is how you get so good at this stuff. And you have so much fun with it. It's a lot of fun too. Sales sometimes, in the old days when I was the world's worst salesman, I didn't like sales at all. I felt uncomfortable. I was very uncomfortable. Have you ever been uncomfortable with sales? Did you ever feel like embarrassed or you didn't know what to say? Did you ever have that feeling in sales? It's horrible, isn't it? I mean, here you are, you're trying to make an honest living, selling your product, service, real estate, whatever, and you're getting that uncomfortable feeling, and the prospect knows it, and they're kind of slow to it. It's like the little water drip. What do they call that? Chinese water torture. All you want to do is get out of there, or you get on the phone with somebody, and they're just asking questions, picking your brain, manipulating you. You don't know what to say next. You're the one off balance. And the analogy I always use is you have to be the doctor in the room. You have to be the one doing. You have to be the diagnostician. In this case, maybe you want to be the therapist. What does a therapist do? What does a doctor, a lawyer? What does a lawyer do when a client comes in? First thing, they got to know what the case is about. Why did that person come? Why did that client, a potential client, come into the lawyer's office? A legal question, a legal issue, a problem, an IRS lien. They're being sued. They want to protect their company. You've got to find that out. You've got to get at least 3 to 6 needs and greeds. At least 6 is better. And then you keep asking questions and raising their emotional EQ, their emotional quotient, and watch what happens. They'll show interest, and then you can move to that third step, the close. So if you can make it emotional with the words you use, with the questions you ask, with the information you receive, tell stories. Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, the same thing happened to a friend of mine, my next door neighbor, a friend, somebody I know from college, same thing like you, or very similar. I just read something in the paper, very similar incident about someone who was renting for 20 years and they lost all the tax benefits. They never got the appreciation, hundreds of thousands in appreciation. And they were living in this 1-bedroom apartment, and the landlord would never fix anything. And if they used that same money that they used for rent all those years, then they put it into a house, they'd be, they would have had $500,000 in equity, the tax benefits, they would have had a home they could call their own, entertain people and guests and everything. That, and isn't how many years you've been renting? Oh, 7 years. Do you think it's time to make that change? So you take the benefit of all the things I just talked about. Or would you rather, it's okay, or would you rather just rent for a few more years? Boom. Get them emotionally involved. Tell those little stories. And watch that magic happen all the time. You guys have any questions before I go? I don't see anything up here unless maybe we're not working. Are we working? Ask me any questions. We've got all messages are visible. Okay, let's see that to everybody. If you have a question, great. I'll be glad to answer it. If not, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm going to make some money today. I'm going to make some phone calls. Second best feeling in the world is talking to people all day long, selling your products. I sell sales training. I'm mentoring in real estate, social media marketing. I get all my leads for free. I do real estate still. I'm very active. But what I love, what I'm passionate about is teaching people how to give good phone, like the sign says. Go to my webpage, claudediamond.com, or go to watch more of these YouTube videos. I do a lot of them. I try to do, I've been on a roll lately. I've been doing at least one every day lately. I love sharing because I think sales is the $1 million skill. I absolutely believe it. It changed my life, changed my fortune. I was broke once in my life. Yeah, being broke it's not fun. You ever wake up, go to bed thinking about money, wake up thinking about money, go to the bathroom at 2 a.m. and think about money, and and you're worried about paying bills and things. What about scripts? You're setting me up, Sean. Scripts are basically, I don't like scripts because I think you get in the habit of reading the same script. I think you sound the prospect knows you're reading a script. Caca, you're right. Scripts are caca. Scripts are garbage. Scripts are for poor salesmen. Do you want to be poor the rest of your life? Use scripts. Go ahead. I don't care. I know a lot of my competition, a lot of those famous gurus out there who I have a lot of respect for, but they're all very script oriented. I'm not. I'd rather you learn skill sets. I'd rather you practice. I'd rather you role play. I've done a couple videos on role plays lately. Make sure you watch them. Thing is, can you can you be spontaneous with that prospect? Can you identify what's their personality type? What are their needs and greeds? Can you ask the right questions? You read a script. Hello there, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect. How are you today? I am just reaching out. They know what you're doing because it's so automatic sounding. You want to sound natural, robotic. Thank you. You don't want to sound robotic. You want to sound very natural. Now, yeah, I know some people use scripts and they practice enough and it sounds the same. But to me, I still think they're not speaking to me as a person. They're not showing respect. They're just doing this automatic thing. And when they're sounding robotic to me, that means they don't care about me as a person. Okay, we all want, what's the thing about Cheers? Everybody wants a place so they know your name. Don't you? I went to a restaurant last night and I knew the waitress said, "Oh, hi, Claude. How are you?" I've been going there 20 years. The owner of the restaurant came to our table and everything. I love that. I love that. It makes me feel special, especially when I'm entertaining company and guests. Everybody wants to feel a little bit more special. Quinn TV. I was listening to Zig Ziglar today. I met Zig. I had breakfast with Zig in Denver, Colorado, at the Pepsi Center. An amazing man, a sweet man, a lovable man. Passed away a couple of years ago. Wrote one of his books, Meet Me at the Top. He's got some good videos. One of the best speakers I've ever heard was Zig Ziglar. Okay, he knew how to put a lot of heart. He was an emotional seller, the theme of what I was talking about today. Zig Ziglar knew how to reach people's soul, how to get into their heart. People bought from him. I think he used to sell Tupperware, pots and pans, door to door in Texas all the time. And he was what's great? A lot of the gurus who are out there, a lot of them are, some of them I have a lot of respect for. Grant Cardone. I believe he came from car sales, didn't he? He did. And I have a lot. I just don't like the whole script thing. To me, I'd rather be the psychologist, the therapist in the room, not a robot reading scripts. They get these robots calling us. Does that tick you guys off when you get a phone call and you get this silly robotic sound? Really? Zig Ziglar said one thing I do disagree with, Quinny. Zig, and I respectfully disagree. We're all allowed to have opinions here. It's okay. We're still friends. Don't worry. But Zig Ziglar said that you give the prospect everything you want and they'll give you what you want. Now, what I think he meant was reciprocity. If you're smart enough to preface when the prospect asks you for something, can you give me an estimate on this? I'd be glad to do that, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect. It's going to take me a few hours of research and going online. I'll probably be up till 12 o'clock tonight. If I get that to you tomorrow morning, can we speak again? Can we have another appointment and go over these numbers and see if you and I can do business? If they meet with the needs of your company, can we make a commitment to do business? It's okay to say no to me. I just want to make sure before I'm up all night long tonight. Boom. So I think what Zig really meant is that when you're going to give something, get something back. Don't just give without prefacing or asking for something up front. To sound impromptu when you are actually following an agenda. Yeah, sound natural. One of the most important things in gut sales is to be a thespian, not a dirty word. Okay, it means to be an actor, but not an actor to manipulate, an actor to make a comfortable environment of sales. When you're speaking to people, what's the most important thing you could do? Lean forward sometimes, make eye contact with them. Okay, that's very interesting. Stroke, sincere compliments, use sincerity a lot of times. Nurturing, where you give them a verbal hug. You tell a story that have you guys ever watched Anthony Robbins? There's a thing, I'm Not Your Guru, on YouTube. It's fantastic. And he makes people in the audience cry. He uses neuro-linguistic programming, hypnotism. He uses EQ, emotional quotients. If you listen to great salespeople, they make people cry. They make them laugh. They take them through a series of emotions. That's what you have to do to be $1 million salesperson. But anybody can read a script, but you're better than that. You're smarter than that. I know that about you. I like Grant too. I think Grant's very entertaining. I think he's a phenomenal marketer. He does live broadcasts all the time. He interacts with his audience. He has, I think, 1 million subscribers on YouTube. My goodness. Obviously, he's doing something right. Learn from people who are doing something right, but not necessarily look at what they do and how they do it. Look outside the box. Okay. Why? What kind of information are they giving? How do they set up their YouTube page? What kind of meta tags do they put in their YouTube page? What kind of titles do they use? Things like that. You can learn a lot by studying very successful people. I think we call that mentoring. I would not be here today if it wasn't for my mentor, Max. Okay, my first book. Let me see if I have a copy of it here. This was the first book I wrote about Max the Mentor. Okay, it's a business novel. It's on my webpage. And if I didn't meet that man, who I didn't know, I just went from guru to guru. I got a lot of motivation without a lot of inspiration without the perspiration. Nobody taught me how to sell. Sales is the $1 million skill. You've got to learn it. I know most of the gurus focus on all the other stuff, all the outside. Oh, you got to get this software package, and you've got to use this guy's stuff, and you got to buy this, and you've got to hang up signs and structure with your acquisition manager. I always laugh when I say that. You know, the acquisition manager here is at Diamond Consulting Group. Yours truly. I'm the guy who does it. One person sitting on the desk using technology, giving good phone, okay, can make all the money they want. You don't need a fancy office. You don't need a lot of employees. You just need to, if you can communicate and connect with a few people every day, you will see so much magic happen. You will not believe it. Grant sold door to door. I got a lot of respect for someone. You know how much guts it is to go and knock on doors? I used to knock on doors. I don't like knocking on doors. I'll be honest here. Sodium pentothal and 2 martini time. Knocking on doors to me and getting people slamming the doors or hearing those pit bulls barking. Do you ever get to go to a door and somebody's got these dogs they're holding back? What do you want? You know, it's like, that's not fun. Okay, it's 85 degrees here in sunny San Diego today. I don't want to go knock on doors. I'd rather talk to you good people on video, on YouTube, on Facebook Live, FaceTime, on the phone. I can make more money sitting on my desk with low overhead if I'm a good communicator, and I can have a lot of fun with it, even with the people who say no. Amazing, isn't it? Grant has his whole team using scripts. I understand that, and I don't know how he runs his business. And to me, one size fits all. No, I want to get the small right here. Okay, I don't want to wear a large Under Armour shirt. I want a small. It fits me comfortable. I like the tight fit and everything. Don't tell me that one size fits all. Treat people special. Make them feel special. Make them feel like they're important. Stroke them, nurture them. You will see magic. You will make so much damn money. You will not believe it if you know how to sell people. It is that important. So I disagree with respectfully because I said I like Grant. I like the guy who wrote the Little Red Book. Oh, I always forget Gittimore, Jeffrey Gittimore. I love that little book. I don't agree with everything in it, but I think that he did that little book. Have you guys read the Little Red Book of Selling? And Jeffrey Gittimore has some great YouTubes also on there. And I disagree with about 35% of the book, but there's a lot of good stuff in there. And you have to have a system. You have to know the psychology. You have to learn how to ask questions, but you can learn from other people. I'm a big believer in mentoring. That was my point from before. My mentor taught me how to give good phone. I'd be struggling today. I'd be broke today. I'd be more month than money. And I lived that life once, and it sucks. It really does. You see, you got me emotional. I'm talking about money. See what you did to me? Oh my gosh. The only person that needs a script is an employee who can't put any heart into a conversation. A good salesperson has charisma. You're right, Andrew McIntyre. They have charisma. They have personality. They have confidence. Okay, you've got to have confidence. Okay, you've got to protect your ego, your id, your super ego, your super id, all that stuff that Freud talked about. If you're going out there all day and getting pardon my language, the shit kicked out of you. I don't like to use too much bad language. I'm not Gary Vaynerchuk, but every now and then, this is an adult audience, I figure we can use a little bit. If you're going out there getting beat up, getting rejected, knocking on doors, driving for dollars, and all that, reading scripts, and you're at the end of the day, you say, man, I am tired and I didn't make any money. That's horrible. That's the worst. Making money, making a sale by the sweat of your own brow, no matter what business you're in, is probably, Sean knows what I'm saying, the second best feeling in the world. And if you don't know the first, I'll tell you at another seminar, another video, a live YouTube. Seriously, you work too damn hard. I know most people in business, in sales, work hard. I know they study. They study too much sometimes. They study all these other different shiny little objects instead of the one thing. Learning how to ask questions, open and closed-ended questions, qualify up front, go to the bank today. Making a sale today, getting a commitment, getting another appointment, feeling good about it. You got to protect yourself. I'm going to say something very controversial. I know a lot of you have heard me say it before, but the salesperson comes first. Now, I know Zig Ziglar and maybe Grant Cardone and Jeffrey Gitomer and a lot of other, they probably never say that. But I think the salesperson comes first. Why? I think if you're working hard, you're giving people good value, you sell a product or a service that you believe in, aren't you entitled to be compensated for that? Don't you and your family have the right to have security, to own a home free and clear, to live this American life we all want? What's it all about? Entrepreneurship. Study any great entrepreneur, and they're usually a good communicator. They get their words across to people. It resonates with people. People feel good about them. The greatest salesmen I have met, besides Max, are great salespeople. They just know how. People want to do business with them. You don't even have to have the best price. Okay, you don't even have to have the longest history. Oh, my company just got started. I get people, Claude, what do you do if you just got started? Tell the truth, Mr. or Mrs. Prospect. I just got started, but I want to help you sell your home, buy a home, sell your car, and everything. I'm going to work 10 times harder because because I have something to prove to not only myself but to you. I want to give you customer service that you have never had before. So I am new, but I'm going to give you things that you would never get from anyone else. If you're willing to take a chance on me, I'll help you solve your problem, and I'll work tirelessly to solve your issue, to give you good value. I have something to prove, and I want to help you. Can we move forward, or would you rather fire me because I'm brand new? Sell it with passion. Sell it with emotion. You got to work for it. You got to fight for it. So even if you don't get the sale, what do you say to yourself? You go to that bathroom mirror and you say to yourself, did I fight for it? Did I give it 110%? Did I really earn it? That's what you have to do. And so if you're just giving away the little canned scripted speech, hi there, we're just reaching out to you today. My boss asked me to call you to see if you need more inventory and everything. Right away. Oh, no, we don't need anything. Call us in 3 months. Call us to send us your information. Boom, you're shot down right away. You didn't even have a chance. I want you to think, what did Steve Jobs, great salesman, right? I want you to think very different about yourself. Protect yourself. You come first in gut sales, and think about what empathy, great word. If there's one word I want you to take away from this dialogue today, I'm going to leave soon because my throat's starting to go, is empathy. Grant says you have a duty and an obligation to take care of the customer so you can take care of your family. Absolutely agree. I'm going to add a little codicil to caveat to that. You have a duty and an obligation to take care of your family first by giving phenomenal service to people who you have qualified and who have given you some reasonable assurance that you're going to the bank today. This is where I disagree with some of these sales trainers. They say, give, and give some more. Okay. I gave to a lot of people, and guess what? They took. Okay. But they didn't reciprocate. I didn't get my I didn't get my lobster mac and cheese. I didn't get my pizza with anchovies on the table in front of me. They just took. Why? Because they don't respect you. I think if you're too giving, you can disagree with me, guys. I'm not the last word. I'm just sharing my subjective opinion on you. I think if you give too easily to prospects without asking something back and showing a value for your time, you're working for free. You're a free consultant all day long. Agree or disagree? So it's okay, as you said, the duty and the obligation to take care of the customer, but make sure your family comes first. You know what I used to always do? Thank you, Kofo 321. I appreciate that. Thank you. I love giving back. I love sharing this stuff with you guys. This stuff changed my life. Word of honor. This game, when I learned sales, and I sell my mentoring programs. If you've gone to ClaudeDiamond.com, I sell sales training. I sell my books here, my sales books. You guys know this stuff. How to Sell with Guts. This is my new book, The Gut Sales Rules and things like that. It's all on my webpage, ClaudeDiamond.com. I mentor people. I sell stuff, but I sell it because I believe in it. I have passion. I try to give people unbelievable value so that they know that after they give me a check, they know I will answer my own phone. They know that I will keep giving. I will keep performing and give. I do business with companies, even though I pay more, because they give me great customer service. I have, I think, a $400 a month Verizon bill. Isn't that nuts? You know, when your kids leave, by the way, I'll share something with you. You folks with young kids. When my kids moved out, my kids are young adults right now. Guess what? Guess who still has to pay the Verizon phone bill? You're right. We're up to, and what are we using? 50 gigabytes a month now, something like that. And you know what? I don't mind paying it because when I use Verizon and we have a problem once in a while, I dial 611 on my iPhone here, and I get an English-speaking person in this country. Sorry, I like customer service, and I want to speak to someone who can help me solve the problem. I get somebody usually in 90 seconds helping me. I use Apple. I just got my new Apple. I just got this in the mail today, my new iPad mini. I can actually write on that and everything. I just got this today. I use Apple because when I have a problem, I get a person on the phone live who comes on my screen and helps me solve my problems. So I think we have to give that kind of value to people also and gain their trust. The only person who, let me see that, I want to go right down these questions here. The only person, no, we did that. Same experience. Gurus don't teach sales because it takes work. Yeah, you can teach, most gurus either teach motivation. Oh, you're going to get rich. You just got to use this program, buy my package, do this, and you'll get rich. How do I get rich? What do I have to do? Then they give you a lot of busy work. Oh, well, you got to read this. You got to implement this. Oh, you got to buy my other application, my other software. You got to do this. You got to mail. Oh, you got to spend another $5,000 doing mailers and postcards and everything. And what happens? You get people on the phone. Sooner or later, you're going to get somebody on the phone. And what's going to happen? You're going to be a deer in the headlights. You got to be prepared. You've got to have a system of sales and psychology so that you're talking to people assertively, confidently, and you're having a lot of fun on the way to the bank. All the superfluous, all the macro stuff, it's okay. Listen, we love all the other stuff there. But when it comes down to it, everything you do is when you get on, you're eventually going to get, especially for you in real estate, financial services, insurance sales, network, marketing, car sales. Sooner or later, you're going to be one-on-one with somebody on the video, on the phone, in person. What's going to happen? All the fancy brochures, all the marketing, everything you do will come down to that moment and how you communicate with those people. Absolutely. Let's see. Were you as entertaining before you learned to sell? No, I was, pardon my language once again, I was a chicken shit. Okay. I was an introvert. Sales changed my personality. Can you believe that? It's a great question. Gerald, thank you for asking that. I don't think anyone ever asked me that before. I was a shy guy. I didn't ask the pretty girl to dance when I was a kid in junior high school. I was the shy guy, I was the guy inside of me, and he's still there. What's that little character in Peanuts? The one who always sucks his thumb and has the blanket. What's his name again? Help me out. It's not Snoopy. What is it? Linus? Linus. Thank you, Sean. Linus. Thank you, Joe. Remember Linus? Always had that little blanket sucking his thumb or whatever. That's me, man. Except I have a little flashlight too, and I'm under the blanket and everything. That was a little insecure Claude. Honestly, I'm just being as honest as I could be. And the more I learned how to come out of and I wasn't happy. I'm not happy. Being shy sucks. And being shy, you know what being shy, it also means you'll be poor the rest of your life. Being poor, absolutely. Thank you, Andrew. Being poor sucks. Life is too short. Okay. When you have money, and I don't mean money, I'm going to qualify this. I know some of the guys out there on that, they think they have I'm going to be cute here. They think they have a lock on their on sales because they're in a Bentley or a car, a lock on their sales. You know what I mean? You guys know. They think because they're in a Bentley or a Rolls Royce or they're in front of their jet or something like that, they think that's going to impress you. It might. It probably does for some. But from my point of view, I want the tangible. I want the skill set. Sales gave me confidence. When you have confidence, that is, you know what turns on people socially and in business? You know what really turns on people? When you speak assertively, you make eye contact, you ask interesting questions, you give them a pat on the back, a stroke, and you show confidence. People are turned on by you got to believe in your product or service. Oh, yeah. There are fake gurus, and the funny thing, some of them have millions of followers. They do very well, but I'm always talking. I'd rather work with a smaller, highly intelligent group like the people here. Okay, that was a stroke right now. Did you pick up on that? Okay, see, I practice what I preach, right? Sales changed my personality, made me much more outgoing, made me a happier person. It really did. I'm a happy guy. I couldn't do this, what I'm doing. I'm basically talking to myself and responding to your questions. I couldn't do this if I wasn't secure enough or I wasn't a happy guy. I know I got a big mouth and everything, but this comes from sales changed a lot of things for me. I love talking. Your mom said the same thing my mom said when I was a little boy growing up in New York. Don't talk to strangers, right? And I'm telling your Uncle Claude is telling you right now, you better talk to strangers and you better talk to them all day long. Even if you're not going to make a sale, I want you to talk to strangers. Make someone smile. Make somebody feel good. Make that hardworking young woman at the Walmart who's just taking your goods on the register, and make her laugh, make her smile, make her day. Tell her earrings are pretty, sincerely. Make somebody feel good. That's part of charisma that Sean was talking. I think Sean mentioned charisma earlier. That's part of it. You got to work at it, though. You got to practice it, and the money will flow. I'll tell you what, I've been broke in my life. Okay, I've been woke up at 2 a.m. and said, how am I going to pay for this, the rent on this place? You ever have 24/7 just worrying about money? Has anybody ever had that? I've been there. Okay. I had a sick mom and dad, and you got to take care of your parents, right? At least I do. And, you got to have money for stuff like that, and I'm not trying to be that materialistic jerk. Okay. But you want to have money when you want to buy something, I just sold my iPad mini on share a little. I just sold my iPad mini. I had it for 3 years. I love my iPad. I sold it on eBay in 18 hours. I got about $275 for it. My daughter works for Apple, truth be told. I just got a new one in the mail. I wanted to buy it. I buy it. Big deal. Put it on the plastic. I pay for it right away. Or I use my debit card. The cash is in that. That's what being great in sales can give you. It can give you everything you need. And it not only will being confident and secure in sales will not only make your confidence flow, your assertiveness. It will also it'll give you enough money to live like a human being. You want to buy something, you buy it. You want to pay off your mortgage, do a double, triple payment, you do it. You want to buy something for your kids or treat your wife, your wonderful wife, or somebody, your girlfriend. You want to buy her some nice bling bling or take her out to a nice dinner. You just do it. Okay, because you have more than you need. You live what it Og Mandino, the richest man in Babylon. I think that was it. Correct me if I'm wrong. He said, "For all you do, 10% is for you to keep. Spend less." And this is just common sense. You know this. Spend less. If you make $1, don't spend $1.25 and then put it on Visa and spend 29% interest. Spend 75, 85%. Live beneath your means and grow it slowly. That's what I did. When we had extra money, we threw an extra $100 against the mortgage. We got rid of all debt. I am debt free. I'm proud to say. I don't want to sound like a bragging jerk. Worked hard. Took me a long time to get here. But sales was the stepping. My mentor who taught me sales made me more confident. That's what got me to here today. Truth, honest story. Thanks for asking that question. I'm sorry I kind of went on a soapbox with that one, didn't I? Jeez. So many fake gurus on TV. LO said, lock them up. Okay, the joke is running here. Speaking of locks on videos and things, not locks and bagels, but padlocks, if you will. It's funny how your Uncle Claude is having an influence. I'm hearing some people that are they're not quoting me. They sound just like me. I've been doing this stuff for 30 years. And some of my books I wrote in the 90s and things like that. Now I hear some people who have a lock on their mind on some of these things, and they actually repeat a lot of my stuff, but they don't give me a citation. Isn't that strange? They don't give me what is called a citation. They say, gee, I learned this from this and this. If you guys always hear me, I always try to give citation to Zig Ziglar or Cialdini. I love Les Brown. Does everybody here listen to Les Brown? You got to be hungry. Go Google Les Brown on YouTube and listen to his You Gotta Be Hungry. It's my favorite. Gives me goosebumps. I love Brian Tracy. One of the most inspirational things I ever heard was from Brian Tracy, the psychology. Brian Tracy lives up the road from here. He's in Delmar, in California here. Brian Tracy said the psychology of success. It's the most brilliant audio. You can get it in cassette still. It's on eBay. You can get it in CD. You might even get it for free on YouTube by now. I don't know. Listen to the psychology of success. He talks about the Pareto rule, the 80-20 rule. It actually has a name, the Pareto rule. About 80% of your efforts will result in 20% of your income, stuff like that. No, the other way around or something like that. Good stuff. Keeping up with the Joneses is keeping people broke. We're in a society. Sometimes when I was a little boy in New York City, I had a job in a gourmet store. Okay, and it was on Madison Avenue. Very richest people in the world live on Madison, Fifth Avenue, Park Avenue. I was the little delivery boy. I used to carry the bags. I had a little wagon. I worked for this gourmet store, and I delivered. And I would see these unbelievable apartments. These apartments that were bigger than maybe people's houses. Okay, I get to see the way other people live. I've actually. I was in Joan Crawford's, famous actress. I saw her apartment. Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton. I actually saw where they lived, and I actually delivered to them once in the Plaza Hotel, very expensive hotel. I've met all the ambassadors from the UN and stuff as a little delivery boy. I was 13, 14 years old, and that experience was indelible on me. It said, wow, they are living. I want to live like this someday. I've worked with hardworking immigrant parents. We weren't rich. We weren't poor. We always had food on the table, always had a nice, clean apartment and everything. And I'm grateful for everything my parents gave me. But when I saw how other people live, I wanted that someday for myself. And so keeping up with the Joneses in perspective, I think can somehow motivate you to want to do more. Absolutely. Be honest, Claude. It's called plagiarism. Yes, it is. There is plagiarism, but it's okay. I think my audience is intelligent enough that they've heard enough of my videos, read my books, go to my web page, and they've seen enough of my stuff to say, hey, I've heard that before. Didn't Claude Diamond just say that? Didn't Claude write that in a book 15 years ago? That sounds so much like Claude. I wonder why that person is copying him. Or her, so it's okay. It's actually, I think, didn't someone say that imitation is a form of flattery? It is with proper citation. Absolutely. Album, always live below your means. Okay. I like that. That's a great mnemonic. Album, always live. That's very good. Thank you. Behind the lens or behind the Helens. Okay. Means my personal acronym. I live by it. Appreciate your great mentoring. Thank you. That's very nice of you to say that. And I appreciate you guys. I'm starting to lose my voice here. It is 3:26 here in San Diego. I was only going to do a half hour, and gosh, we almost knocked out an hour of listening to me blab away about sales and things like that. Next week, I'd like to talk more about marketing. I don't spend, believe it or not, I'll talk about this next Monday. Somebody remind me. I get all my leads for free. I get leads in every day into my office. I virtually attract all my clients without spending any money. One of the things that always bothered me is, why are people spending so much money for leads, buying the lead lists, and they're caca to these lead lists. You're going to the same person. You're bothering the hell. I don't want to bother people in my marketing. There's enough people doing that with their auto dialers, their auto robot calls, their mailers. You ever go on a web page, you want a little information, and they inundate you every day with 2-3 emails every day. Don't bother. I know that's ClickFunnels selling and all that good stuff, but you know what? I'd rather work with some people a little higher up on the food chain, who don't want to be bothered. They want value. They want good information so that they continue to follow you, not because I'm annoying them with repetitive, boring emails. Okay, so I'm going to talk about marketing next week. I use a lot of different social media. It's a lot to learn about social media. You can't just throw something up there. There's a lot of work, planning, algorithms, a lot of stuff to do. But if you do it consistently and you do it the right way, the leads come into you. And what's the value of a lead today? You don't even have to do Google AdWords or pay Facebook or anything. The leads will just come in if you're using the right search engines. Absolutely. Gary Vaynerchuk, another quotation. See, I love to quote people. One of the best books I ever read was Gary Vaynerchuk, called Thank You Economy. It was profound. He said, treat the customer the way you want to be treated. Max said the same thing with different words. Give these people value. And don't just say ask. Are they still, let me ask you guys, are the gurus out there, are they still saying ask for the order 5 times or more? Okay, I'm going to leave in about 55 seconds, but are they still asking, ask for the order 5 times or more? I find that annoying. Let me decide on my own. Make me want to buy. Don't keep nudging me or annoying me by asking the same repetitive questions. I know you're trying to close me, but make me want to buy. It's a much easier way to sell and go to the bank. I got one of those stupid letters today. Last chance. Why haven't I heard from you? They're dumb. They're an insult to your intelligence. Why not say something more? Why not give really good content? Offer an incentive. Offer something for free. By the way, on my webpage, I always have a free book at claudediamond.com, and I always answer my phone if someone's ready to do business or has just a quick question, 970-281-5151. Give people value, and you'll always see the magic happen, because nobody, what do I say at the end of every one of my videos? I'm surprised they're not copying this too, Sean. Nobody deserves success more than you good people. You're working hard. You're studying hard. I know you want good things for yourself and your family. You want security. And you want to enjoy this American life. And you know what? You deserve to. Don't be embarrassed about working hard, but work smart too. And give good value. And ask those questions and all the other things we talked about here in the last hour, and you will see it happen. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining me. You're great. Bye-bye.